How can this be? Reptar has always been our friend. He protected us from the mole people, the aliens.
Don't forget the gigantic cockroaches.
Yet now he seems to have turned evil. Has the world gone mad? Has the very fabric of space-time been torn apart?
Yeah.
Everybody who's anybody is potty trained gut buckets. This is Big Orange Couch, the 90s Nickelodeon podcast where we talk about all things 90s Nickelodeon. My name's Joey.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Cassandra.
Boop, boop.
And this is episode 206. We're talking the top Rugrats.
Yeah, it's here. 206 episodes. And we're talking about what might be the most, maybe with the exception of SpongeBob, maybe the most famous Nickelodeon show ever. What do you think about that?
Probably. Longest running.
Absolutely. It spans generations. Because I don't know about you guys, but my kids love the new Rugrats.
Oh.
Yeah, they approve of it. They're watching it.
They love it.
Were they familiar with the old Rugrats?
Yeah, they love it too. I'm just like, really? You like this?
So you don't like it?
It was a little scary at first, but it's growing on me.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
My biggest problem so far with the new one is Grandpa's voice. Grandpa's whole vibe is weird.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's like 50 or something. He's like too spry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like a ponytail, right?
Yeah. And his voice is just not like old manish. It sounds like us. I mean, it's too young.
Yeah, that was a shame that now I can't think of his name. The Grandpa's original voice passed away some years ago.
David Doyle, he passed away during the run. I think he passed away in 97.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the season 5 and 6 is someone else. And it's close. Like the guy who does 5 and 6 is close, but it's still like just off enough that it's it feels weird.
Yeah. I have only seen the preview, but I also heard Stu's voice is completely different. That voice actor also passed away.
Yeah.
And that sounds really weird. Like he had such a distinct voice. It's hard for me to think of him as anything else.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the voice work on the show is magnificent. We've talked a lot about the animation on Rugrats being pretty magnificent. Yeah. And I think rewatching it. So let me ask before I talk about rewatching, how much did you guys go back and watch, or did you kind of go like with your gut? You know, did you dig in? Did you marathon? What did you do here?
Okay, yeah. So I've watched a lot of Rugrats even recently, like I said, because of the kids, and but I did just go with my gut. I went with what I felt like when I was a kid, the ones that I remember the most or thought were the best for one reason or another. I didn't try to go with like what I would like now, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's always a safer way to go, because I've definitely made some favorite picks where it was based on like 30 whatever year old Joey, and it feels untrue to my former self. When I reconsider the pick, it's like, oh man, I was trying too hard. Andrew, did you rewatch anything?
Yeah, I rewatched a bunch of them. Like I came up with a list of like maybe 20 that I remembered and thought it could be a contender, and then rewatched like a bunch of those and flipped through some of the ones that weren't making it for me. But this is another one of those shows that I'm always surprised like how much I enjoy it again. Like I'm a little bit hard on it, I think, in general on here, but watching some of these episodes, like they were really good ones.
Why do you think we're hard on it? Because I agree. We are, I think, harder on Rugrats than most 90s. I mean, we give passes to like everything. Alan Strange and Space Cases. So why do you think we resent it because it's so popular? I mean, what's not resent's the wrong word, but why do you think we're hard on it?
I think to me, maybe I'm thinking of it as too much of like a really little kids show just because it's about the babies. Like I forget how adult a lot of these storylines are, and like how much time you spend with their parents and stuff. So I'm always surprised just going back that it's not like a preschool show. You know?
It's definitely not. I made a note that I think maybe besides Are You Afraid of the Dark, Rugrats is like the scariest show that Nickelodeon has aired. So many of these episodes are chilling.
I think people take it for granted too because it was just always on when we were kids. It was like the default setting for Nickelodeon. So people just maybe get sick of it.
Yeah. Repetition. Although it has served me at this point where a lot of these I'd kind of erased from my memory, but then once I watched it, it came like flooding back. So that repetition I think has like paid off now, but I'm sure as a kid I was just kind of done with it. And then by the time they got to All Grown Up, it just felt like they sold out.
What?
It felt like Nickelodeon's first show where and I'm saying this as like I know this is a ridiculous idea, but I felt probably as a 13-year-old, it's like, oh, they think, they got their Mickey Mouse or whatever.
I actually kind of liked All Grown Up. I might be the only one, but
yeah.
I remember.
Did you like the movies?
Not. I'm not sure I ever saw one of the movies all the way through.
Oh wow, they're really good.
Well, okay. Maybe I'll give them a chance.
I mean, really good.
Really, really good. Like I saw that first one, but I don't think I saw the Wild Thornberrys one.
I love the Wild Thornberrys one. Yeah, I think they're really good. I mean, maybe I'd have to rewatch and make sure, but
no, I mean Rugrats is good. I think I do think everything you said there is probably true. The fact that we thought it felt too young for us or what have you, but a lot of the show's premises do revolve around the adults, more so than I think a kid could tolerate now, honestly.
I remember loving it at the time.
Oh, me too. But I've never watched a modern kids show where, there are some of these episodes where it's like 80% adult storyline.
Yeah.
You're not chilling with Mayor Humdinger and Paw Patrol for like the whole episode.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely like a smaller kids show than this.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. That's what's so great about Rugrats, right? Is like a 2-year-old can watch it and a 22-year-old can watch it.
Yeah. I was reading about how like the writers and what's her name? The woman who created it, Arlene Klasky?
Yeah, Klasky.
Klasky, yeah. I guess she thought like they eventually like the writers had become too cynical and like mean. Like she didn't like where they took Angelica, and I guess they often had disagreements. And so I read that they invented the character of Dr. Lipschitz to be they were like mocking her. Like I guess Lipschitz was supposed to represent like her and like giving all this advice that was bogus.
Wow.
So it seems like even within the show there was like maybe disagreement as to like what audience this was for.
Yeah.
That's
maybe
pretty
is
wild.
which is maybe what makes it like cool. Like I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just remember as a kid, I felt like the adult stuff was at least as interesting to me as the kid stuff. Like, and maybe that was just I don't know. I feel like as a kid, that's kind of what you want. You want to like be part of the adult world, so it's like it feels like you're getting some experience in it or something.
That's true.
Yeah. And you know what I just realized, Cassandra, this is your first time on the podcast, and I think because maybe we're so familiar with you that we just like skipped your intro.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into our list, we should probably say like, all right, so tell the people a little bit about yourself, Cassandra, because you're up to all sorts of stuff.
Sure, yeah. I'm a mom. I'm podcasting over here. I've got a podcast called Cassandra Explains It All. And it's a good time. I do some 90s stuff, Nickelodeon, but I also do, some 80s movies and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and Joey just came on and did You've Got Mail. So that'll come out this fall. It was awesome.
Anybody who's listened to this podcast knows I love You've Got Mail. I won't apologize for it as much as Andrew wants me to.
No, we ended up loving it even more.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's 23 years later and you fall in love with those two rascals all over again.
Yep.
Yeah, Andrew, you were just saying you were listening to some of the podcasts, right?
Yeah. Really enjoyed the Mark Summers interview most recently.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. And I'm not all the way through, but I've been listening to The Tale of the 13th Floor and really enjoying that. The Terrence McKenna connection is funny.
I hope you...
Good episode.
Hope you equally enjoy the 20 minutes of Terrence McKenna I play at the end of the episode.
I can't wait.
Yeah. But yeah, for anybody listening, Brett, who often comes on this podcast and does the art, for some of your guys' episodes, also does a series with me on Are You Afraid of the Dark? So we're slowly working our way through every single episode.
Oh man, good luck.
Mm-hmm. It's been pretty fun so far.
It is so much fun. It's just a lot to bite off.
It is. And Brett is not amused by me, which I think makes it even funnier.
Yeah. I think that's a good dynamic.
Yeah.
An odd couple type dynamic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just listening to your Field of Pete, which I have to say I strongly disagree with your lukewarm take, but I kind of like that. I feel like you're not I don't know what the right word is. You're not pandering.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your audience is there for the nostalgia, but your takes are pretty honest and real, and I guess I'd much prefer that than you being like, oh my god, Pete and Pete's genius, even though it is. But
it is, and I know I love trash. Like I know what I love is trash, and I'll admit that.
That's a bold statement. Okay.
Airborne, you guys talked about though. I wouldn't call that trash.
Yeah.
I loved Airborne. I did do that.
You wouldn't call Airborne trash, Andrew?
No. I mean, as a kid, I really loved it. I guess I haven't seen it in a while, but Jack Black.
Just quick, Airborne versus Brink. Which way are you going?
Oh,
definitely Airborne.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's like such a low bar, but I guess Airborne.
Wow. Okay.
Are you going Airborne?
I'm loyal to Disney, so I'll say Brink.
Okay, we're way off from Rugrats. All right, so the list. We'll do our typical. We'll do our top fives. We'll do a close call. We'll do a Ferguson. And we're not doing full episodes. We're going to do our favorite kind of episode segments, either part A or part B, unless you got, there's some specials in there, some 25-minute episodes. But I think that's what we're gonna do. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Andrew, you want to kick us off with your number
Sure.
5?
My number 5. I don't know if this one's even on your guys' radar. It's called Party Animals. Season 2, episode 26B.
Wow.
It's a like the parents are having this costume party, and the kids are upstairs, like being put to bed, and they make a wish on. And Grandpa reads them the story of Aladdin and his lamp, and they make a wish on Angelica's like just regular lamp, you know.
Yeah.
And it like comes true in the form of the party guests in their costumes. But it's just a really fun episode. Like, you get to see all the adults in this one, and it's one of these ones where like it's the kids kind of trying to get into the adult world and not understanding what's happening at all.
Billy Joe, this is my brother Stu.
Also known as Tarzan, King of the Jungle.
Well, actually, Stu, King Kong is king of the jungle. You're just king of the apes.
No way, Drew. The term King of the Jungle refers exclusively to Tarzan.
What?
Tarzan rules, and you know it.
Hey, you want to step outside?
Yeah! Hey, Drew, let me in.
And there's a lot of funny moments in this one. Just the adults interacting with each other. At one point, Stu gets locked out of the house and gets caught by the police. It's just like, it's just a really funny, like fast-paced episode. And you spend so much time with these like weirdo adults in this one that it just like, it cracks me up.
That's such a cool story concept too.
Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember the adults wearing like weird costumes. They're at Angelica's house, is that right?
It may be Drew's house, I
Drew's,
guess.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's Angelica's, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I guess I could have just said yes.
Technically, the owner of the house is Drew, so you're right. No, yeah, I vaguely. Is this one you liked as a kid? Because I just that one it rings a bell, but not quite.
I definitely remembered this one from being a kid, and I think the reason was mostly because it's not an outright New Year's episode, but I feel like maybe it was aired around New Year's or something, because it feels like a really perfect episode for that. And I just love that, like, kids discovering this like super weird thing about the adults and like trying to grapple with it.
Yeah.
Also, there's this one of the characters, it's like Stu's uncle or something, dresses up as a giant baby, and they get like freaked out from it. And he's like chasing after them, trying to get them to pull his finger. And they like,
that sounds super familiar. He's like wearing like nothing but a big diaper, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. This is kind of coming back now. I can't say whether I think it's good, but it's definitely like a very like the imagery I feel like sticks. So that must be something.
Yeah. And the final moment of this episode just cracks me up. It's like the kids have barricaded themselves in their room to get away from this crazy giant baby, and Angelica has been sleeping through this whole thing, and finally she wakes up and has to go to the bathroom, and the giant baby has been locked in the bathroom. And she opens it up, and when she sees him, she just like screams. So funny.
Darn, I wish I would have gone back and watched this one. That sounds good. I just like Google searched it to like look at some pictures, and it definitely, it's like what I'm thinking of. But also I just saw that it was on a VHS tape called Bedtime Bash. It was a Rugrats one, and they're all like bedtime ones. So there's Party Animals, Under Chucky's Bed, Truth or Dare, In the Dreamtime, and The Last Babysitter.
Whoa.
Pretty good tape.
Yeah.
Cool pick, Andrew. I would, yeah.
Thank you.
Very cool.
All right. Well, Cassandra, what do you have at number 5?
Okay, so for number 5, I have Moose Country. So I feel like some of my picks are kind of obvious, but I'm just keeping it real. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's season 1, episode 6. And it's after hearing Grandpa's mythical story about a moose, the Rugrats go look for one, and spoilers, it's Spike. It's such a great episode. Grandpa has so many funny lines. He says that he ate 15 tons of moose and that it lasted the rest of the Great Depression.
And there we were, just me and your great-granddaddy hunkered down in the shadow of an enormous bull moose. Just a hair bigger than this house. Well, maybe he wasn't as big as the house, but he was certainly bigger than the garage. Anywho, the whole Pickles clan had moose for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the remainder of the Great Depression. Now that was real food, not like that green mush you'd been eating. And just what did that moose look like, you say? Well, I just happen to have his picture right here in my wallet. Here he is, 15 tons of bull moose. Sometimes I can still taste that fella.
And and Chucky eats an earthworm, and that comes back around up again in my Ferguson pick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The worm?
Yes. There's a little connection there.
Ooh. That's a good teaser.
Yeah, I definitely remember this episode pretty vividly. All these first season ones I really connect with. Yeah, very good episode. It's another one of those ones where they are exploring some like everyday area, but to them it's like the jungle kind of, you know.
Yeah, and it's still funny. Like at first I thought I just picked it instinctually for nostalgic reasons, but it was actually really funny.
Good one. Nice. News Country. That one's not like that. That doesn't seem like an obvious pick to me.
Yeah.
It seems like
oh, okay.
That seems like a deep cut to me.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like the same way about my list, but I'm sure there's a few on here where people would roll their eyes. You know, you can't be wrong on these things. Come on.
Sure. Well, maybe when you hear my Ferguson, you might disagree.
Oh, if it's Beach Blanket Babies, we're about to fight. Okay. My number 5 is from season 3. It's episode 17B, and it's an episode called Chucky's Wonderful Life. And I just pulled the summaries here. So it says Chucky has made a mess of things again, and now he wishes he's never been born. But with the help of his gardening angel, he learns what life would be like without him.
Aww.
This centers around, like, with the help of Angelica losing his dad Chaz's favorite Latvian folk dance music CD. And so Chucky thinks he's going to be in like huge trouble. And, I think It's a Wonderful Life take has been done by a bunch of shows in pop culture, but there's something to me extra comedic and really like it's still tragic about a baby watching the world unravel with like if he had never existed. You know, that whole premise except through the eyes of a 1-year-old who's Chucky. And really one of my all-time favorite Rugrats moments, I think, is watching Chaz. You know, so it's life without Chucky, and Chaz is just living in squalor. He watches nothing but C-SPAN, and he talks to Saki, his sock puppet. We get. Do you remember that?
Now that you're talking about it, like it's really coming back.
Oh yeah, Chaz is just like a total mess. He looks like he's just been run down, and he's got this sock on his hand.
Hey, this looks like my living room, only it's different. Where are we? Well, it's kind of complicated. See, this is what the world would be like if you was never born. Wow, why is it so messy? Without you around, your dad just doesn't see any reason to clean up.
So, what do you want to do now, Saki?
I don't know, Chaz. What do you think we should do?
Who's my dad talking to? Chucky? You may not like what you're about to see.
We could just watch C-SPAN. They're showing the proceedings of the House Ways and Means Committee today.
My dad is talking to a sock. Who else would he talk to? You don't exist, remember?
And he's telling Saki he wishes he was his real. He wishes Saki was real, and Saki's like, me too. And Phil and Lil have become like punks, like punk rock, and Betty and Howard.
Yeah.
Betty and Howard are like totally helpless. They're just like destroying the house. Angelica kicks Tommy out of the house and takes over the pickle house. It's really just a blast. I mean, it's like, you think I think when I was going into it, I wasn't expecting it to be on my list because I thought it might be more of a sentimental episode, which I'm not always into, but it's really funny.
Yeah, the premise is very depressing.
Yeah, but they don't treat any of it like that. They treat it as absurd as it is, which is a 1-year-old with his gardening angel, looking at what the world would be like. I mean, it's like Blade Runner world. Everything's run down and like it looks just like crimes everywhere. And
Oh my gosh!
all because Chucky wasn't born. So that's my number 5.
Nice,
I like that
nice.
one.
Yeah,
Good
I
pick.
didn't rewatch that, so maybe I will.
I'll be interested to see if there's any that is on all 3 of ours.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll call it a long shot, but I do think there's 1 or 2 that's possible.
There's one that I'm going to be kind of surprised if it's not, but we'll see.
Okay.
You ready for number 4?
I've been waiting all day for it.
Oh, okay. Man, this was close to being higher on the list, but it's Angelica Breaks a Leg, season 3, episode 7B.
Yeah.
Rewatched this one, and
Great
it's just as funny as ever. I mean, everything about it is really pretty hilarious. Just to recap, Angelica's staying with Stu and Dee Dee for like the weekend while her parents are away, and she fakes breaking her leg so that they have to take care of her, and they just gradually get more and more fed up as her demands become like crazier and crazier.
Uncle Stu, would you open my window? I'd do it myself, but my leg's broke. What is it, Angelica? I need a tissue. It's a little cold in here. Could you shut my window?
What is it, Angelica?
I can't remember. I remember now, Uncle Stu. It's getting kind of stuffy in here again. Could you open my window?
And it ends with her parents coming back home, and Charlotte has broken her leg for real, and so she now has to take care of her mother the way that they were taking care of her.
Yeah, it's a good twist.
But this is just so funny how Stu and Dee Dee are just like becoming zombies, kind of trying to take care of Angelica's every whim. And there's one thing in this episode that I know was done in some other stuff, Simpsons in particular, but I remember this happening a lot during this time period where the character wants the TV in their room and somebody has to like push the big tube TV up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 27-inch tube TV.
Yeah. The big 27-incher.
I know, that's so funny because I was like, really, in the 90s was that a big TV? I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, it's a great imagery, and Klasky and what's her husband's name?
Shupo? I don't know.
Shupo, right? They both come from The Simpsons.
Oh, like the first.
Yeah, the first few years. I think in the late 80s, they were on The Simpsons.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows in the animation.
For sure. This is a great pick. I went back and rewatched this one, and one thing that I didn't remember is actually just how quickly they've had enough of it. Like her first ring, Dee Dee's like entertaining it.
Yeah.
But really by her second buzz, which is within seconds of her first, Dee Dee already knows what's about to go down, and she's not having any of it.
Yes.
And it goes on then for 4 days, which is terrific. It's really one long running joke, but it works every single time.
Yes. This episode also has Stu's signature scream. He finally can't take it anymore.
When she doesn't want her chocolate pudding mix anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very funny episode. I'm glad it made your list.
I feel like that's probably the most famous Rugrats meme, right?
Probably,
easily. Stew in the kitchen at 4 a.m. Lost control of my life. Yeah, and now I was thinking about this. I mean, Andrew, you and I won't ask your age, Cassandra, but you and I are Stu's age right now.
Oh man,
pretty depressing.
Yeah.
It is.
But I like to think
I'm the same age as you guys. I think I'm 34.
Okay, yeah, so you're right there. Maybe Dee Dee's age.
Yeah. So,
yeah, but I like to think maybe Stu, if he was alive in 2021, would have a podcast about toys or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toy Maker.
Yeah.
You know what? Something else about this episode that really cracked me up this time around was just when he goes to get the pudding mix in the middle of the night, or when he goes to get the pudding, and it's like, it turns out there's no regular pudding. Like, he has to get the mix and then make it. It was just, a subtle little great choice right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, so...
Yeah, number 4. No, number 4.
Yeah, so my number 4 pick is season 2, episode 13, A Visit from Lipschitz.
Yes.
And I actually, my friend Herjo and I were going to do this as an episode on my podcast, but after rewatching it, I decided there wasn't enough there, just to do that as an episode. But I still really like it. And basically, Lipschitz comes over to the Pickles house for dinner to, appease Tommy's mom. But then the guys leave to go to a baseball game, and Dr. Lipschitz is roaming their house, eating their food and taking a bath and wearing Stu's bathrobe. It's so funny.
It's so creepy. It's so weird.
Oh my gosh, that must be him! It's such an honor to have you, Doctor. Ah! Charles!
Oh, Dee Dee!
I'm sorry, Charles. I thought you were a famous psychologist.
Nope, just another faceless bureaucrat coming over to pick up his son.
Dee Dee's in a bit of a frenzy with this Dr. Lipschitz coming over.
Lipschitz? The Lipschitz?
Why, yes. I didn't know you read Lipschitz.
Read him? I've got his 12-volume complete works, the books on tape, and the brand new how-to video guide.
You mean that guy who's always telling people how to raise their kids? I can't believe you people take that crackpot seriously.
Crackpot?
He meant a very skilled, intelligent, brilliant crackpot.
Yeah. Now where's the goulash?
It'll be ready soon, Dr. Lipschitz. Please, come in.
You're too kind.
Yeah, I loved it, but I'm just it's too short to do an entire episode on, but it definitely needs an honorable mention. I think he's a great character.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I could have really used more of Lipschitz.
Yeah.
I just love the fandom. I love that Chaz is such a huge fan. Not just Dee Dee, but Chaz is just I gotta be at this dinner.
So funny.
And this episode is one of the real good 1-2 punches. I think it's A Visit from Lipschitz, and then B is The Inside Story, which is the watermelon seed one.
Yeah, classic.
So that's just a solid 25 minutes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's one that I didn't rewatch. I just vaguely remember the details, but it didn't like come back to me as one that like connected with me as a kid, I guess. But might have to rewatch it now.
Yeah, it's a good. I did rewatch it for this. It's a pretty funny one. And by the time he starts literally like stripping down to take a bath, it feels beyond absurd. Like for Rugrats, it's just like this man visiting this house is rummaging through their fridge and then getting in the tub. It's very weird.
It is such a weird episode. It's so great though.
It is good. I should mention some people have been submitting Instagram stuff. So Andrew, you mentioned Angelica breaks her leg. This was also the pick of the Black Don Draper. Vincenzo, our buddy Vincenzo, picked that as his favorite, and so did our friend Vaughn. All picked Angelica breaks a leg as their favorite. Vaughn also picked Looking for Jack, which is an episode I'm not very familiar with, but I mean, Lipschitz is pretty much Dr. Phil before Dr. Phil, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was watching it. I'm like, who was this based on? But like you said at the beginning of the episode, I guess it was based off of, somebody that they're working with.
Klasky, yeah, the creator.
Yeah.
But
it does seem like a Dr. Phil type.
Yeah, big time.
For sure.
All right. Well, my number 4 is season 2, episode 15B. And that is an episode called The Case of the Missing Rugrat. And the summary here is, after finishing his grocery shopping, Grandpa places Tommy into an old car just for fun. He only turns his back for a second and Tommy is gone. After intensive searching, Grandpa traces Tommy to, quote, Grey Gardens, home of Emma and Clarice Pendragon, a couple of old ladies who have adopted Tommy, who they now call Bostwick.
Oh my lord!
Do you remember this one?
No, I can't believe I haven't seen this. Like,
it is
blowing my mind.
Familiar. Yeah.
Oh my! When you see it, so this is Andrew. Before we started recording, I was telling you there was one I watched that I didn't think would be on my list, and then when I saw it, it was like I was 8 years old again, and it was, yeah. So, I just love this one. It's really worth a rewatch. I feel like it's one that probably most people don't care or talk about, but.
Ladies, I'm looking for a baby.
There must be some mistake, Mr. Pickles. There have been no children at Grey Gardens for over 50 years.
Begging your pardon, ladies, but the presence of that rattle argues otherwise.
Oh, dear. Oh, that! Mr. Pickles, that rattle belongs to my sister. She's not quite right in the head, you know. Oh, but Emma, you know as well as I do that the rattle is yours. She's a bit touched, you see.
Ladies, look, Tommy is my grandson, and I'll do whatever I have to get him back.
There is no moral to this one, which I also like. There's, in a lot of these Rugrats, there's, your basic kind of, there's a moral at the end, but there is like nothing here. It's just an adventure / detective tale centered around Grandpa Lou and Tommy. There really are only 2 reoccurring characters in this one. We're way out in the middle of nowhere. And then we're taken to this eccentric home, which is based on the classic documentary Grey Gardens. Have you guys seen Grey Gardens?
Yeah, you had me at Grey Gardens.
Yes. Oh, they literally call the mansion in the cartoon Grey Gardens, so they're not being like coy about the reference.
Oh, that's so cool. I cannot wait to watch this.
And the ladies who live there are, just like the Grey Gardens ladies, are a couple of recluse old women who are deteriorating in a mansion with a lot of cats. And I just vividly remember this episode as a kid, and man. So the old ladies, Emma and Clarice, I remember they used to really kind of scare me when I was a kid, but like in a fun way. Like the way they're animated is very creepy. But it's a fun setting. I love the mansion. I love Grandpa Lou being a detective. And every time Tommy is called Bostwick, it's pretty much good for a laugh. So yeah, if people don't remember, this is the one that maybe of like all my picks, because I feel like the rest are like, at least you'd hear the title and you might know what I'm talking about. But maybe go back and for some people out there, check out The Case of the Missing Rugrat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good one. That man, I can vaguely remember this setup. I'll have to rewatch it, but that's great.
Yeah,
I like the weirder the better. I feel like
the whole beginning is great because Grandpa Lou sees this car. He's like, "Oh, this brings me back to my detective days." There's a guy standing next to the car. He's like, "Do you mind if I just jump in and like have a little fun?" The guy's like, "Go ahead." And he gets in the car.
Oh yeah.
And then Grandpa Lou sees his shopping cart rolling away, and he chases after it. And then he looks back, and the car is gone. And he runs up to the guy, and he went, "Where'd the car go?" And he went, "I don't know. That wasn't mine." It's just
love it.
I don't know. It shocked me. It's the only thing on my list where I didn't anticipate it.
Yeah,
But,
nice.
Yeah, cool.
Good one. Well, my number 3, I imagine you're familiar with, Little Dude, season 1, episode 4B.
Little Dude, yeah, that's such a good one.
Dee Dee decides to take Tommy to school to teach the class about diaper changing and where she works. Like, this is one of the reasons why I love this episode. Like, this might be I think it's the only time where we see Dee Dee as a teacher at work.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she was a teacher.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. This might be the only mention of it. So Tommy ends up at school, and Dee Dee lets the kids take care of him for some reason, and Tommy, sneaks away and starts getting into trouble, and it like results in a whole bunch of stuff where he's like crawling through different classrooms as like different stuff is happening, so you get to see like all these different characters and like the weird things they're doing, and there's this like cool guy character who kind of like connects with Tommy. He's like the only one that can kind of just like take care of Tommy without it being a big deal. And
Ramon.
There's a huge food fight in this one toward the end. It's just like, it's one of those episodes that like feels really big to me, and it's very bizarre like how many unique characters are in this episode, and just the school, just like for one half of an episode, it's like crazy amount of work was put into it.
There you are.
Hey, where are you going with my kitty?
You don't have to babysit today, Pop. I'm taking Tommy to school.
School? The little feller's only 1 year old.
It's just for a visit, Pop. I'm teaching the kids how to diaper babies, and I thought I'd bring in Tommy as a learning aid.
You mean an experiment? He's nothing but a monkey to you people.
Say goodbye to Grandpa, Tommy.
So who's gonna caddy for me?
Maybe Spike wants the job.
Spike? Fetch! Oh, fiddlesticks.
I love looking at it. Like, the animation in this one is so good. It's one of these fast-paced ones where it's like Tommy is crawling around as like these little things are going wrong all around him. So this is just one of those ones that like hits that perfect note for me. Like perfect pacing. It's really interesting the whole time. Funny stuff is happening the whole time. Just like it feels really good to me to watch it. And it feels like a complete story within this 12 minutes or whatever.
There's some iconic imagery. I feel like Tommy in the sunglasses
for sure
is one of the more famous Rugrats images.
Yeah.
And I love just how quickly like the students at the school embrace Tommy. You know, like he is. It's cool that she brought her kid, not like weird. You know what I mean? And
yes, yeah.
I think there's
I have no memory of this episode.
Also a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
One of the things that I also think was really enjoy in this one is there's this like one guy by himself in the gym trying to like
shoot free throws.
Yeah. He's missing and getting really angry, and finally Tommy causes him to slip, and the ball goes in the hoop, and he's happy about it. You know?
Yeah, that is a great little like a side joke. This guy in the gym.
Yeah. I don't know. I love how this episode looks. It just like it feels like it could have been an extended, like a full half-hour one. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really fun. And Ramon is just so cool. I mean, obviously,
he's definitely super cool.
They're definitely doing a take on like the Fonz.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My my next pick is Graham Canyon.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah. Did you have that one too?
No, I don't. But I love Graham Canyon.
But I loved it. Yeah. It was one of the ones I was considering.
It was also Endless Alexandra's pick.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's season 1, episode 13. And Stu and Dee Dee take Tommy and Angelica on a car trip to the Grand Canyon, but their car breaks down. And while they're exploring this repair shop, the Rugrats, they foil like 2 mechanics who are planning to rip them off. It's just an all-around hilarious episode. And these 2 side characters are really funny. I don't know. I think it's just really fun. And we even get some good old fashioned like family car singing. So
I bet my money on
Deed, would you check the map? I think that turnoff for the Grand Canyon's coming up.
Already?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit after Arizona.
Well, that was at least an hour ago.
What?
I'd better look. An hour past Arizona, we must be here. Oh! Well, there's Mount Footstool, and there's the Devil's Armchair. Then we want to turn right here. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes.
Yeah, it's another one where, like the animation's really cool.
Yes,
it's really like nice to look at.
Yeah, I love the family car trip too. Yeah, that's just a great setup. And this one's always been kind of reminiscent to me of the first Vacation movie. Like there's a
interesting
sequence where they get like stuck in the middle of the desert, and there is some sort of mechanic thing going on where they rip him off. It feels similar to that, but I love this one. Yeah, it's very cool looking. I love the whole tire mountain sequence. Really cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Great episode.
Yeah, and this is one I picked it because I definitely remembered it from when I was a kid, and I always thought that these 2 guys at the shop were really funny.
Yeah. Horrible. But they're really good.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Also, I love the end of this one, where they just blow off the Grand Canyon and go to the Clam Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Instead.
Yeah.
Just a really, I don't know. It's like, for some reason, I love that moment. It's like they're giving up, but it turned out to be maybe even better by the time they get there.
Yeah. And this is, I think, another example of, I talk about it with Doug, like getting out of Bluffington, but also, we don't know the name of the Rugrats city, but Rugrats episodes that take place in other settings often are some of my favorites.
Yeah, I thought about Doug a lot when I watched this episode too. I'm like, this is such a nice contrast to Doug's last trip or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Bad Trip. Show the deserved respect. It's one of the greatest.
Yeah, Bad Trip.
Okay.
Yeah, great pick. I mean, this is definitely one of the episodes that like was most memorable to me as a kid.
Yeah, that's where I was wondering if anybody else was going to have it. I'm like, I feel like these all seem so obvious.
No, it was very close, but...
Yeah, not on my list. So far, no repeats, right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my number 3. I'd be shocked if it didn't come up on either of your lists, but it's possible. Who knows?
Yeah.
So my number 3 is season 1, episode 9A, and that is an episode we've talked about before on a Versus. That's Candy Bar Creep Show.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah,
it was close.
It didn't make yours.
It didn't make it. It was very close.
Oh, what? You guys are crazy. Okay. The Pickles set up a haunted house for Halloween, and Angelica is determined to find all the Reptar bars. But when the Rugrats go searching for them as well, will they end up scaring her off?
See, Chucky, this isn't scary. Well, it is a little scary. Trick or treat!
My, what scary costumes.
Mine's not scary, Aunt Dee Dee. I'm a little angel.
Of course you are, dear.
Angelica!
So we did this episode versus Doug's Halloween adventure, and both great Halloween episodes.
Yes,
to me,
right.
this is
Yes.
I was thinking we've yet to make our definitive favorite Nickelodeon Halloween list.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we will someday.
Yeah.
But I would dare to say that this would be a pretty important episode in that pantheon.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
It's one that really, when I think about Nickelodeon Halloween, when I think about just any Halloween special, I mean, Candy Bar Creep Show is